Hey there, Fit Fam. Welcome to the only podcast where we're breaking the mold and rewriting the rules. I'm here to debunk the myths, spill the tea, and serve a hefty dose of reality. No matter where you're at in your journey, we've got something for everybody. So buckle up because we're about to unleash the basics in the most unapologetic way possible. From shedding pounds to embracing your inner badass, I'm here to remind you that skinny is so last season and the basics are anything but boring. So grab your favorite piece of protein and your water bottle and get ready to be empowered, entertained, and educated because being a basics bitch has never looked this good. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. Excited to be here with you today. I apologize in advance if I'm sneezing, coughing, sniffling, all of the things. This is a life and season that we are in. Basically, all of November, my children were sick. And now it is mine and Dad's turn to be sick. So we are here killing it, if you will. Anyway, okay. Fat loss basics, you guys. It is live. I am calling in 10 women for this container this time. I would like 10 women. You're going to hear about it all of December. We officially start January 6th, but the moment you hop in, you get access. So the sooner you get in, the sooner you get results. And some of us are waiting. We're waiting till it's the right time. We're waiting until all these things. There's really no reason for you to be waiting. There's no reason for you to wait. You could be, 4 to 5 pounds down before the holiday, as well as even if you don't lose weight, quote unquote, lose weight before the holiday season, getting a start on getting basic habits, understanding how things go. So that way when January comes and you're like, new year, new me, wee, you're ready to go. Like you've already done all the back end work that you need to do, or most of it, or got a hold of some of it, so that it makes this process simpler and smoother as you move through that new year of 2025. And I know some of you are listening to this, and 2024 was supposed to be your year, and it wasn't. And you're still fucking sitting around, okay? I don't know what else to say. Fat Loss Basics is HSA and FSA approved. Somebody just was approved the other day for their FSA account. It's not a difficult process. You can hop in at any time. You can get approved at any time to use your HSA or FSA. Sorry, I also sound like I'm out of breath. I'm really not, but yay sick. So this is just that. Just hop in. Just like so many of us are waiting. So many of us are waiting, and I don't know what we're waiting for. Waiting for another fucking year to go by, or waiting for another month to go by, waiting for another Monday to start. And it doesn't have to be. You could hop in today. Today's a Wednesday. You can hop in, get access, and boom, you're rocking and rolling. Like, I'm very confused by the waiting around. Which also then leads me to this part. Just to be like super clear, I'm very transparent about all of the things that I involve myself in, meaning all the things that I invest myself in. I just made a brand new investment, a 6-month container with a new business mentor. And I move. I just take action. I just do the thing because you want to know what? I can spend time sitting around wondering what would have happened if I just fucking would have done it, or I can just fucking do it. And that's the goal. Okay. So, that being said, moving on from Fat Loss Basics, I want to talk a little bit about what in general, okay, has to happen. One thing that a lot of people don't talk about, a lot of people don't see this other side, this other piece, and that is you really have to become a different version of yourself. If you are not ready to let go of what you got going on right now, you are not ready to up-level your life. You are not ready to change. You're just not. Now, that doesn't mean that we are going to change the day that we start, okay? It doesn't mean that. What it means is that we are ready, we are willing, we are going to show up in a way that says, that is not who I want to be anymore. And we are going to start living in a life and in a way that shows up as a person that we desire to be. I don't really give a shit if you've never been to the gym before, but if you wake up, you join Fat Loss Basics and you're like, oh my God, I am a gym person. Boom. Guess what? Change. You're a gym person. I don't give a shit if you've never gone before, right? It's not about your past. I was gonna say like history and past all at once, and it came out as hast. It's not about your history. It's not about your past. It's not about all the things that you used to be. It's about what do you want right now? Where are you desiring to be right now? Where are you wanting to go right now? That is the path that we need to be on. That is the path that we need to start walking towards and walking on. You have to be willing to become a different version of yourself to fucking change your life. If you're not willing, if you're not ready to literally change, and this isn't like a this is not like a personality problem. Like, it's not like you have a bad personality. You have to change your whole personality. But there is some of that. Last night, I closed out, Monday night, technically. I closed out Fat Loss Basics 6.0, okay? And we really talked about what it means to change. What does this really mean? How do we make this part of who we are, not what we do? How do we make this a piece of, like, how do we make health and fitness a lifestyle? Because it's not as simple as what people think. And it's not as easy it is as simple, but it's not as easy as what people think it is. And you want to know what? Sometimes it's not as simple either. I'll just say that. It's not as simple as what sometimes it is, or we think it is. I often say this process is simple. It's not easy. Changing yourself is not simple. This is a really difficult process. It is very hard. It's not easy. Okay. And a couple of these things that we talked about last night was, I'm like looking at my notes here, was the fact that getting out of your own way and doing things differently than you've done them before, right? What does this mean? If you desire to change your health, okay, you have to make different choices than what you're currently making. You cannot continuously sit on the couch with a bag of potato chips, at least not every night. Like maybe we take that from 5 nights to 3 nights, or 5 nights to 2 nights, right? We cannot do those things. We have to change the behavior. And in order to change the behavior, you actually have to replace it with something else. So if we are going to take away and we're going to say, okay, 1 night a week on Wednesday, instead of doing X, I'm going to do Y. We actually have to replace the behavior that we are trying to change. If you don't replace the behavior that you're trying to change, what are you going to fill it with? You're going to end up going back to the behavior because you don't know what else you're supposed to be doing. You don't actually know, like your brain just like, well, this is what we do. So that's what it knows. That's not changing who you are. That is not being open to being a different person. Like you literally have to be a different, not different person, but different version of yourself, right? That is not doing that. If you don't have a plan, if you don't make a plan, if you don't replace what you're trying to change. So, okay, here's a primo example. Hey, instead of sitting on the couch and watching Netflix and eating my bag of chips and drinking my wine, I'm going to put Netflix on my phone. I'm going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to batch track some food. I'm going to batch make some food, just some ground meat, or maybe I'm going to cut up some chicken and cook it and bake it and whatever else. But I can do that and I can still watch my Netflix show. I can still do both. I can still prep my shit and watch the corny ass fucking Christmas movies. I can do both. Instead of just sitting on the couch though, I'm going to go prep my food. Instead of sitting on the couch, I'm just going to go maybe on my bike or on my treadmill and go get a 10-minute walk in. Instead of sitting on my couch, maybe it's not even that I have to go do something like that. Maybe I just want to go read a book instead, right? We have to replace the behavior. Okay. But you have to be willing to do that. You have to be ready to do that. Your long-term, we talked about this last night, and one of the biggest keys is the long-term gratification versus short-term gratification. And how long do you have to sit in the discomfort to get to the long-term gratification? How long is it going to take you to get there? That's the question. How long are you willing to be fucking uncomfortable to get to where you want to go? How long? If you're only willing to be there for a day, you're not going to up-level that version of yourself. You're not ready to change that version of yourself. It doesn't mean that you showed up that day perfectly. What it means is that you're going to try again, and 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 again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Today, I log my workouts. I log them. This was something I was telling my group coaching program yesterday is I track my workouts in this app called Strong. It's not an app that builds any program for you. So if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, this app will not help you. And I enter in all of my training sessions I always have for my workouts. Okay. And this tells me how many workouts I've done. Now, outside of the very first year where I did my program, Thinner, Leaner, Stronger by Mike Matthews. That alone literally was, a year's worth of workouts. I did 5 workouts every single week for an entire year. So that's not like Saturday, Sunday. So how many days is that week? So it's 52 times 5. Is that right? 52 times 5. So 260 workouts. That's alone. I also worked out at Orange Theory Fitness. Okay. I've taken numerous workouts that I haven't necessarily logged and tracked. Okay. Over the course of the last 8 years. And this doesn't include pre-Thinner, Leaner, Stronger for the first like 6 months where I worked out like 6 days a week. And that wasn't tracked. It was just literally, I was doing workouts that my husband sent me in a Google Doc. No joke. That's what I did. Right. So that was like the first like 6 months. So anyways, the point that I'm making here is that I get these little bars on my thing and I have a goal of hitting at minimum 5 workouts a week, but typically I go 6 times a week. Now, this is what I was telling my clients last night. That does not mean that you need to go work out 6 times a week. Okay. I have my programming built a little bit differently than most people. I do not do a lot of volume loading. My exercises and my training sessions only take me about 25 to 35 minutes because I don't have a lot of load on them because I typically spend time then and go and walk. So I've had to adjust some things in my training to make sure I get everything in. That being said, okay, I was annoyed last week because I got sick. I spiked a fever. I got sick. And I couldn't do my workout. So I had to adjust my workout. Then the week before that, I had this thing with my eye. That got weird. I couldn't do my normal workout. I didn't even track the workout. So there's 2 workouts that aren't tracked, okay? And there's been more than that. But the point that I'm making here, let me get back to it, is that according to this, I have done 884 workouts that I have tracked alone in this log. And every single day, I see that number go up. Every single day that I log a workout or a training session, I see that number go up. Okay. That is long-term gratification. That is some long-term shit. You get to your first 100, you're like, oh, this is cool. You get to that second 100 and you're like at 200, this is really cool. Like I am breaching on 1,000 workouts in this app alone that I have tracked. And that doesn't include, again, the 260 that I did before that. So we're talking, let's see, 260 plus 884. Hello. 260 plus 884. So I'm at almost 1,200 workouts without any of my Orange Theory, which I did for almost a year. And I went to that twice a week. Again, logs like 2. I have 2. I already know I have 2 that I didn't log last week because, again, I wasn't feeling well and I just adjusted. And I didn't feel like having to relog everything. I didn't feel like having to put it all in there and swap out exercise. I didn't want to do it. I needed to go in and just do what felt good, right? So that being said, you have to change that version. Like that is a long-term gratification. In the short term, did I necessarily want to go work out? No. Am I always motivated? No. Another thing that I shared with them is my lack of desire to fucking track my food. You guys, I don't want to track my food. I've done a piss poor job at tracking my food. I'm still on mission 180. Do you know how long ago, if I would have just fucking buckled my ass down and got this shit done, I could have probably had my caramel ice cap by now. I haven't even been in Tim Hortons because I just don't want to go because I can't get it because I'm sticking in it. I'm sticking it out. Even when I'm not doing it perfectly, even when I'm not doing it, whatever. I did hit a new low weight on Thanksgiving, so that was kind of cool. Right. But like, I'm still not where I want to be. And I really thought I would have been here by now, or at least a lot closer than what I am. Well, guess what happens when you don't fucking change what you're doing? You fucking stay the same. Okay. So I'm doing a really great job again at maintaining that 5 to 6 pound weight loss that I had from July. I'm doing a great job maintaining it, but I'm not doing shit to fucking get closer to where I want to go. So here I am. In the same fucking position. If I want to change, I got to up-level myself. If I want to change, I got to change what the fuck I'm doing. If I want to change, I got to fucking track my food. Back to kind of like what I was talking about last week. It's like I got caught in the trap of like, well, I know enough. I can eyeball it enough. I'm good enough at tracking. I don't need to fucking Yes, I do. I need to track my food. That's where I'm at. That is where this season of life is for me right now. I have to track my fucking food if I want to get to my goal. Boom, done. That's the beginning, short, the end, the long, the middle, all the things of it. I have to track my food if that's where I want to go. I have to change what I'm doing. If you want change, you got to fucking create change. If you want change, you have to fucking be willing to be a different version of yourself. Right now, I'm being a version that is very comfortable. I'm not changing anything. I'm not creating a new version of myself. That's the reality of it. And it sucks. It's a shitty reality, but that's a reality. That doesn't mean that, all of November, I can sit here and make all these excuses. August was hard. November was hard. All these things are hard. Blah, 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 blah. October was hard. Okay. Well, great. Welcome to life. Life's fucking hard, And for me, it's not about getting there fast. I'll get there when I fucking get there. Some of us have this huge expectation that we're just going to show up and like we should just lose all this weight. I'll get there when I fucking get there. I will get there when I arrive. However that looks for me. The point though is that I'm not stopping. The point though is that I'm not quitting. The point though is that I'm going to keep going. Some of you are not willing to do that. And I'm going to tell you, it fucking shows. Some of you don't think you need help. Some of you think, oh, now's not the right time. Some of you think, oh, I don't have the money. Excuse me. Some of you think all these things. Okay, think away. That's why you stay stuck where you're at. That's why you haven't changed. That's why 2025 is looking a hell of a lot like 2024. Maybe even worse, some of you. Maybe even worse. And it's interesting too, I live in my little entrepreneur world, right? Where like investing in yourself is like such a big deal and all these things. It's like, I can't tell you how many people are in my little entrepreneur space that I've met in person that tell me all the time, I really need you. I really need to hire you, but I can't right now. I'm just too busy, but I can't right now. I just can't afford it, but I can't right now because X, Y, Z. And some of you are living that same fucking life. Even not being an entrepreneur. Oh, I can't right now. It's, this season. Oh, I can't right now until baseball starts. Oh, I can't right now until after spring break. Oh, I can't right now because it's just too much of a commitment. Yeah, guess what? Your fucking health is a commitment. Yeah, it's a fucking commitment. It's a fucking commitment. It's interesting too, last night on the, on my group coaching call, the fact that we doom scroll all the time. Like we spend time scrolling. I guarantee if you were to go right now into your phone and see how much time a day you spend on your fucking phone, I guarantee it's enough for 10 minutes for you to go take a walk instead. And some of you are like, oh, it's just 10 minutes, not that big a deal. Like, not that much could happen. If you don't fucking move your body, 10 minutes is a big deal. It's a lot, actually. And it's beneficial for you. And you should be doing it, right? But the phone, right? Because that's what we're going to do. We're just going to doom scroll instead because it's just not enough. And, that's just silly to just go on a 10-minute walk. And that's not going to be helpful. And all these things we tell ourselves to talk ourselves out of it, to self-sabotage ourselves, because what's the point anyways? And then on the flip side of that kind of came up where it's like, well, yeah, but social media, it's like kind of made to do that. It is made to do that. But you still have autonomy over your choices. You still have autonomy to make a decision for yourself. You still have autonomy to do something different. You don't have to do what everybody else does just because everybody else is doing it. Just because it's an excuse for you to say, well, it's social media's fault because they made it addicting. Well, sure. Is it social media's fault? It's just an inanimate object. It didn't do anything. It didn't tell you that you had to go doom scroll. It didn't tell you to pick it up. It didn't tell you to open up Facebook. It didn't tell you to open up Instagram or TikTok. It didn't tell you all those things. But you're doing them. And that's on you. That's a choice, right? And if you're going to change, you have to do something different. If you're going to change, you have to put your blinders on and not do what everybody else does. That's the reality of it. You know, that's an email out. I don't know if I sent it today or it's going out tomorrow. If you're not on my email list, there's a link in the show notes. You can get in there. But that's when everybody else was doing this. I chose to do this instead. When everybody else was eat less, move more, I was like, nah, I'm not really down with that. I'm going to just strength train and eat as many carbs as I need to feel good. When everybody else was like, join Optavia, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to eat fucking real food. You're going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. And you better be ready for it. You better be ready. When you welcome and are willing to become a different version of yourself, it can be a really fucking lonely road, which is partially why having support is necessary. Because you're doing something the majority of the people that are around you are not, which is partially why you're not doing anything. You are the company you keep, unless you are like the 1% different. I've always been, in this last year, I've always been different than everybody else I've been with. You know, this last week we went and made caramels, and I say caramels because that's basically all we made, but like we make homemade chocolates, right? Where you melt down the chocolate and then you fill them and then you put them in the freezer and you knock them out and you do all the things, all the fun stuff. Okay. Tradition is to get Arby's. And then we had pizza for dinner and all these things. Guess what? I stuck to my guns. I did something that nobody else did, which was take my own lunch. My lunch had 22 grams of fiber. It had over 30 grams of protein. I took a protein shake as a snack. I took a high protein yogurt with me. I did shit nobody else did. I did shit that thankfully nobody said anything to me. Thankfully, these people know. They understand me, right? They don't have to make their comments, even if they think them. They didn't say them, which is kind. Okay. But I had to do something different than everybody else. Now, could I have eaten Arby's? Absolutely. Would it have given me the amount of protein that I needed to get in for my day? Absolutely not. Would it have served me the way I wanted it to? Absolutely not. Especially not with having pizza. That's the reality of it. Plus, I had gone out Wednesday night for dinner. I had gone out. We had Thursday night was Thanksgiving. And then Friday would have been 2 nights eating out. 2 times eating out. That's a lot. That's a lot of times out. Well, guess what? I can't do it all, right? I always talk about you have to sacrifice something. You don't have to sacrifice everything, but you got to sacrifice something. So I sacrificed Arby's. And I stole one of Jaden's, what are those called? Cheese stick things. Not like mozzarella sticks. I stole one. That is different. I am a different version of myself now than I was 9 years ago. And as I continuously move forward, I will become a different version of myself as I continuously progress. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Every single version have served me, even back in the day when I would eat Oreos and then wash it down with chocolate milk and then eat bananas with chocolate sauce all over them and have ice cream and do all these things. And I would do all these things. I remember I used to babysit my brother-in-law's cousin. And I shit you not, the first thing I would do is wake up and I would make chocolate chip cookies in the oven. And we would eat chocolate chip cookies at like 9:30 in the morning. Okay. That version served me. But I have progressed since then. And every single version since has served me. Every single version has done something for me. And instead of being littling that version of me, instead of telling that version of me how terrible she was for me, I thank her and say, time to move on. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing your job in this moment. Now it's time to go. And this is even from a year ago, from a year prior to that. From a year prior to that. Every version of me has served me in some way. And I just keep growing and keep changing and keep evolving and keep up leveling. And every version means something and every version matters to me. But guess what? I open her with welcome arms. I I open up space to let her do what she needs to do. I welcome her with, okay, tell me what you need right now and let's make it happen. And she serves me in a way that needs to be for that moment. And then guess what? I get a new version of her and a new version of her and a new version of her. And when you think about it, it's really kind of fucking cool that you as a one person can have so many different layers and so many different moments and so many different versions of yourself that you can continuously grow and grow and grow. And that's fucking cool. So, are you willing? Are you ready? Are you able to become a different version of this version that you are right now? If you are ready, if you are open, if you are willing, if you are able, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? That's what I got. So, Fat Loss Basics. It's in the show notes. If you're interested, you know where to find me. Catch you on the flip side. Thanks so much for listening today. If you laughed, learned, or just felt the vibe, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your support keeps this ass train chugging along. If you're ready to embrace the basics with a twist, follow me on social media. Links are in the show notes, and let's see the ways we can work together. All right, basics bitches, you're not just listeners, you're part of the revolution. Remember, skinny's out, basics are in, and you're looking damn good doing it. So until next time, stay basic.